They told you to dream. They never told you to decide. Because the truth is, dreaming is easy. Everyone does it. In traffic, in the shower, at 2 a.m., when they're wide awake, wondering where their life went. But deciding, that's different. That's war. To decide is to cut away all other options. It is to burn the boats, close the back door, and lock yourself in the room with your purpose until either you become the person who wins or die trying. Most people will never make that decision, not because they can't, but because they're addicted to maybe. Maybe one day, maybe when I'm ready, maybe when life calms down. But life never calms down. It's a storm by nature, and greatness is not waiting at the end of the storm. It's hiding inside it. Ask Thomas Edison. He didn't dream of a light bulb. He decided he would find it. 10,000 failures? That's not failure. That's a man who made a decision so solid, reality eventually bent to his will. Henry Ford? They said cars couldn't be made affordable. He said, watch me, because decision isn't about what's possible. It's about what you refuse to leave behind. Success is not granted. It's claimed. It's not a product of wishing, hoping, visualizing alone. It's the child of discipline and belief, married in fire and forged through action. And here's the hard truth. If you're not where you want to be, it's not because you weren't talented. It's because you never decided to become obsessed with the process. You flirted with success. You took it on weekend dates. You told it sweet lies. But you never married it. You never committed. And now you're here, standing at the cliff between what you are and what you could be. And that space, that infinite, terrifying, beautiful space, is filled not with luck, but decision. When Napoleon Hill interviewed the wealthiest men in the world, Carnegie, Rockefeller, Schwab, Ford, he discovered the same hidden principle behind all their stories. Definiteness of purpose. Not goals, not dreams. Purpose. Decided, declared, and pursued without apology. Purpose is what gets you out of bed when motivation fails. Purpose is what makes you stare failure in the eyes and say, try again. Purpose is the only drug powerful enough to kill doubt. But let me ask you, do you know your purpose? Or are you wandering through life hoping it'll introduce itself someday? Because that's not how it works. Purpose doesn't show up. You show up to it, and that requires a decision. You think you have time, but regret is a slow-burning poison. It doesn't hurt today. It doesn't scream. It whispers. Until one day you wake up, and the whispers are louder than your dreams ever were. Success is not a distant mountain. It is a series of small, brutal, non-negotiable choices made daily. It is waking up early when you want to sleep. It is showing up when no one claps. It is studying when others are scrolling. It is failing and still moving forward. It is being laughed at and building anyway. And it begins not with inspiration, but with decision. Decide who you will be. Decide what you will tolerate. Decide what you will chase. And then refuse, absolutely refuse to back down. You want success? Decide. You want freedom? Decide. You want peace, power, legacy? Decide. Because once you do, once your soul signs the contract with your future self, the world shifts. The right people show up. The right ideas emerge. The right energy surrounds you. Not because life got easier, but because you got clearer. And clarity is a weapon. Clarity is a weapon. Not everyone carries it, because it takes guts to wield it. To say, this is who I am. This is where I'm going. And I will not stop until I get there. Most people live in fog, uncertain, hesitant. They wait for signs, for motivation, for perfect conditions. But clarity doesn't come from waiting. It comes from movement. When you begin, even blindly, when you decide to build before the blueprint is perfect, life starts to reveal the path. People think the successful are lucky. No, they're just decisive. They fail faster. They adjust quicker. They don't need the whole staircase. just the next step and a reason that burns like fire. Look at Walt Disney. Broke, rejected, mocked, lost his characters, lost his rights. But he didn't lose his decision. He walked miles through rejection and came out on the other side with an empire. Why? Because he saw what others didn't. He saw within. And once a man sees clearly within, nothing outside can stop him. Your vision isn't weak. Your decision is. You say you want it, but your actions whisper doubt, and the universe listens more to your habits than your words. Dreams are loud, but discipline is louder. Discipline is the bridge between want and have, between someday and now. And hear me when I say this. You will never rise higher than your standards, not your talent, not your motivation, your standards. What do you accept from yourself when no one is watching? Because that is the real scoreboard. Not likes, not followers. What do you do when you're tired? When you've failed again? When it's dark, cold, and lonely? That's where destiny is written. In the quiet, in the grind, in the hour nobody sees but everyone feels later. Andrew Carnegie once said, "People who are unable to motivate themselves must be content with mediocrity. Let that burn into your bones. If you cannot lead yourself, the world will never follow." This is why decision is power, because decision makes discipline automatic. Once you decide that failure is not an option, you no longer ask, should I wake up early? Should I show up today? Should I keep going? No, you already decided. And in that decision, discipline is born. But understand this, discipline without belief is slavery. Discipline with belief, that's freedom. Belief is the engine. It turns sweat into strategy. It turns pain into preparation. It turns ordinary humans into unstoppable forces. Every legend started as a nobody. Oprah was told she was unfit for television. Ford went bankrupt 5 times. Lincoln failed in war, business, and politics, yet kept rising. What did they all have? A decision backed by belief. Not arrogance, not empty confidence, but a deep, unwavering belief in who they were becoming. And that's the key. Becoming. Success isn't a destination, it's a metamorphosis. The caterpillar doesn't become the butterfly by dreaming. It dissolves. It breaks down. And only by breaking what was, can it become what will be. So maybe your pain right now isn't punishment. Maybe it's preparation. Maybe the doubt, the fear, the rejection. Maybe it's not there to break you, but to build you. Because if you don't bend in the storm, you'll never be strong enough to walk through fire. There will come a moment when everything inside you says stop, rest, settle, lower the bar, and you will have a choice. Do you listen to the weakness, or do you answer the decision you made long ago? In that moment, you will define your entire life. Not in public, not on stage, but in silence, in the arena of your own soul. This is the war every great one has fought, and the ones who win, they don't win because they never feel doubt. They win because they never believed it. They decided once, and they redecided every day. You must redecide every day, because the world will test you every day. It will whisper lies in the voice of comfort, of distraction, of mediocrity. And if you're not anchored in your decision, you'll drift. Not quickly, not all at once, but slowly, silently, until you're miles from the person you were meant to be. Let me tell you a truth few will say aloud. You are either building your future or betraying it. There is no neutral. There is no pause button. Life doesn't stop when you hesitate. It passes you. And those who win, they don't hesitate. They hunt. They hunt their goals like predators in the wild. Because they understand. Success isn't handed to the lucky. It's hunted by the relentless. Think of that. Relentlessness. That's not just hustle. It's faith in motion. It's showing up again and again, even when nothing seems to work. It's pushing when your body says no and your mind screams quit. It's turning every I can't into I must. And here's the paradox. The more relentless you become, the quieter your doubts get. The more you act, the more your mind starts believing. Because your brain follows your body, and your life follows your decisions. There's a fire inside you, or maybe it's just smoke right now. Maybe it's been buried under excuses, fear, and the weight of what they said you could never be. But hear me, that fire can still roar. That fire can still burn down everything keeping you small. You weren't born average. You were taught average, conditioned, programmed, by people who gave up on their own greatness and called it realism. Break that cycle. Your family may have struggled, but you can rewrite the narrative. Your past may be filled with failure, but that's not your identity. That's your inventory, and from it you can build. This is what self-mastery looks like. The ability to feel doubt and do it anyway. The courage to look in the mirror and say, I am not who I was yesterday, and I won't be the same tomorrow. Every great life is built moment by moment, not with luck, not with talent, with focus, grit, and clarity of decision. You don't need more time. You need more honesty. Radical, unfiltered honesty with yourself. Ask, what have I been avoiding? What decisions have I delayed? What greatness have I denied because it scared me? That's where the real work begins. Not on the vision board, but in the battle between your current self and your future self. The part of you that wants comfort and the part of you that craves conquest. You think your enemy is failure, but your real enemy is comfort disguised as logic. It says, be reasonable, play it safe, don't be too ambitious. But the people who changed the world, they weren't reasonable, they weren't logical, they were decisive. They made choices that looked insane to the weak-minded and turned them into legends. So the question is no longer, can you succeed? That's the wrong question. The right question is, will you decide to? Will you decide to cut off the excuses? To burn the bridges back to average? To go all in, not halfway plus effort, but all the way in? Because success does not respond to partial effort. It waits, it watches, and when it sees total commitment, it bows. You want to win? Stop dreaming. Start deciding. Start becoming the kind of person who refuses to fail, because failure is simply not part of the identity they've chosen. You were born to build, born to lead, born to become the example your bloodline has never seen before. And that begins not with a plan, but with a decision. You can have reasons, or you can have results, but you can't have both. The moment you decide, not wish, not hope, but decide, your reasons lose power, and your results begin to take form. Your old story. It only has power if you keep reading it. Rip out the pages. Write new ones. Because identity is not fixed. It is chosen, and then it is forged. Do you want to know the difference between those who succeed and those who don't? It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's intentional identity. They chose who they wanted to become, then lived, acted, breathed, walked, suffered, and bled like that person. Long before the world believed it, they walked like kings while the world called them fools. They showed up to empty rooms like they were packed stadiums, because greatness is always built in silence first, and then echoed loudly through time. Oh, you keep waiting for a breakthrough, but your breakthrough is waiting for you. It's on the other side of a decision you've been avoiding, one that scares you, one that stretches you, one that demands you become someone else. That's why most never make it, because they want the dream, but not the death of their old self it requires. But hear this, no one gets to rise without first being broken open. No one touches legacy without first facing loss, pain, isolation, and pressure. The diamond is not born in peace. It is created through pressure. The sword is not shaped in comfort. It is forged in fire. So why do you expect your journey to be smooth? Stop wishing for easy. Start demanding transformation. Because the day you stop craving comfort is the day the world stops limiting you. Oh, look back on your life. Every great decision, every leap you took, it changed you. Even the ones that ended in failure, even the ones that hurt, they made you wiser. They made you hungrier. They cut away the weakness and revealed the warrior underneath. That's what decisions do. They don't just shape your future, they shape your soul. You think you're deciding between jobs or goals or side hustles, but you're not. You're deciding who you want to become and who you're willing to leave behind. That version of you that procrastinates, gone. That version of you that overthinks everything until opportunity dies, gone. That version of you who apologizes for dreaming too big, dead. Because you made a decision, and decisions destroy doubt. And listen closely, you're not too late. You're right on time. If you were supposed to have done it already, you would have. This moment, right now, is not random. This is your line in the sand, the place you draw the sword, look life in the eyes, and say, it's me now, my terms, my time. No more talking, no more waiting, no more calling fear logic. From this moment on, you lead your life like the empire it's meant to be, not with apology, but with authority. Because once you decide, you don't need permission, you don't need consensus, you don't even need confidence yet. You need courage, and courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you're done being ruled by it. Courage is not a feeling, it's a decision in the face of fear. It's when the heart pounds, the hands shake, and the world doubts you. But you move forward anyway, because the path to success doesn't ask for comfort. It demands conviction. You will be laughed at, misunderstood, left behind, even betrayed. Good. That's how you know you're doing something worth dying for. If everyone approves, you're playing too small. If no one doubts you, you're not dreaming big enough. If you don't feel resistance, you haven't stepped past your limits yet. Because resistance is the gatekeeper of greatness. It doesn't show up to stop you. It shows up to prove you. So when you feel that voice, that old inner whisper that says, you're not enough, you don't have what it takes, this dream is too big, smile. Because you're close, so damn close. And that voice is your test to see if your decision was real or just another wish wrapped in noise. You were never meant to live a life of almost successful, almost ready, almost brave. You were built to finish things, to conquer, to create, to leave your name etched into the story of this world, not as a footnote, but as a force. But to do that, you must decide. You must decide to be obsessed. Yes, obsessed. Because the world will call your hunger too much. Let them. The masses are addicted to moderation. But moderation never built empires. Be obsessed. With growth. With mastery. With legacy. Because the day you become obsessed is the day mediocrity becomes unbearable. And that is when the game changes. Forever. So I ask you now, not softly, not gently, but like a mirror that refuses to lie. Who are you becoming? What do your daily decisions say about your destiny? Because you don't rise to the level of your potential. You fall to the level of your standards, and your standards are set by your decisions. So raise them today, right now. Decide to lead yourself. Decide to protect your vision. Decide to execute when it's boring. Decide to keep going when it's brutal. Decide to choose greatness instead of settling for regret. Because in the end, that's what it comes down to. One life, one chance, one decision. Will you rise, or will you wait?